So I thought I would take a little bit of time and give you folks an idea of some ways to get some mobility work in throughout your day where you may not necessarily think you can find some time. Right now I'm at the shop and I have a lot of issues with hip mobility, groin tightness. It definitely, when those areas are lacking mobility, they put a lot of stress on a number of different areas in the body. Because my hips are tight, I have a lot of discomfort in my lower back. I feel some discomfort in and around my knees, in the tendons and the ligaments, and even the muscles around those areas. So I thought that, adding some more of this type of mobility work throughout my day will help me to, stay a little more limber than I usually am. So I just, this is something you can do anywhere. I'll hold these different positions. As you can see, I'm pressing my elbows into the insides of my knees, just pushing out, putting a little bit of pressure, nothing that's too great that is going to stress my groin or my hips out, but I try to hold that position really for just as long as I can without it becoming uncomfortable. Each time it might be a little longer, a little shorter, just depending on how it's making me feel that day. As you can see, with each time that I stand up and I come back down into that position, I'm able to get a little lower and a little wider in this squat. Obviously, this is going to help me in a lot of areas in and out of training. But this is typically something that I will do pretty much every day, but I especially do more of it on my squat, my deadlift days, and even my flat bench days, because I'm obviously going to need to get my hips open so I can get into a good bench position from the hips down, which is going to just help me with my leg drive in the lift, which is something that I'm not necessarily really good with. I think I tend to muscle the weight up in my bench press. I don't really have the leg drive that I could, and a lot of it has to do with a lack of mobility. So here I'm just moving into a low-hanging stretch. This is something that we also do in yoga class. Zach and I try to hop into some hot yoga at least once a week on a good week. But these are definitely things that I do regardless of being in yoga or not, because they're great stretches. And I'm feeling that in my lower back, in my hips, my hamstrings, my calves, just a nice stretch. And then I go into a flat back and relieve some of that tension that I'm putting on my hamstrings and my calves and my lower back when I am bent over into that stretch. So this is another really great stretch that I like to utilize. And this entire routine took me maybe about 7.5 minutes to do. I'm sure you can find 7.5 minutes in your day where you can do this, whether it's, in the morning just to get yourself stretched out a little bit, or sometime during your work day. Everybody takes a lunch. So, dedicate 5 minutes or 3 minutes even to some type of mobility work. Whether you're an avid gym goer or not, this is something that anyone can use. If you sit behind a desk for long periods of time, your hips get tight, everything gets compressed. So this is something that you can do. I come down and get a nice stretch on my psoas, on my hip flexors, on my lower back. And I'll do this 3 or 4 times. Get a nice stretch in my shoulders. I'll lean into it a little bit. Do this a few times. And then from here, I go into just a little bit of a stretch for my shoulders, for the back of my shoulders or my upper back, where I get a lot of tightness and discomfort. Got some good music in the background. Listening to an awesome station, Class of 1993 Hip Hop on Pandora. It's Black History Month. Get in touch with your roots. Everybody's got some roots laid up in places we don't know. So, Class of 93 Hip Hop. Check it out. When hip hop actually was good. And then one last time here. So this is long. It's about 7.5 minutes long. But it's completely doable, and it's definitely something that you should try to incorporate in your day, and it's something that I've been trying to really increase throughout my day. I'm lucky enough that, you know, once I leave my job at Old Navy, I come here to the shop, and I do have some downtime. You know, we're not like a shopping mall where there's constantly traffic in and out. We have, you know, pockets of business throughout the day, so I do have some more time in my day to be able to do things like that. So really, there's no excuse for my poor mobility, because I've got plenty of time to get this work in throughout my day. In all honesty, it's probably laziness. So I just lay into these stretches, probably about 30 seconds on each side. If I've got more time, I'll do 3 sets on each side. But today I wanted to just at least get a little bit of stretching in. I know that I'll be able to do this again at some point throughout the day before I hit the gym tonight to do some work on my squat program that Zach's got me doing in the off season here. So working on my high bar squat. It's not a position that is very comfortable for me. I'm not used to being so upright. So it's definitely been wreaking a little havoc on my lower back and my hips. So this is why I've been incorporating extra mobility in those areas, just so that way I'm able to accommodate the stress from being in a different position. So I hope you guys liked this, and I'm going to try to do some more of these throughout my training, and I hope you guys liked it. Let me know if you want to see some other stuff, and I'll do my best to accommodate.